All right, folks, what is going on? It is Thursday night. That means this is Wrestling Outlet. That means I am Boxman. Oh, that's right. And across from me is.
Course, I am the voice of a generation, the luscious luminary. It's Smart Robert. How are you?
I am doing good, Smark. I'm doing all right. It has been a one fuck of a week, uh, to say the least. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. I'll put it that way. It's been a long week already. Even though it was a short week, it's been rough. I don't know why, but it seems like all of our vendors just they tell me it's coming in on the 5th, and they tell me it's coming in on the 7th, and then on the 7th they tell me, well, it might be the 12th or the 16th. Well, the problem with that is when you tell me something as a vendor, I go and tell a customer, then it doesn't happen. Can the salesman go blame their vendor? No. It runs down on the salesman no matter what. So I'm getting vendors mad. I'm getting salespeople mad. It's basically I have 6 people and all their problems, 7 people and all their problems fall on these little old shoulders here. So including my own problems. That's a lot of problems, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right, man. It's just been a rough week, but it seems like the holiday threw shipping off like by a week. I don't know what happened, but seems like some shit's going down. I'll tell you that. I don't know. I just
Isn't it
can't.
always?
Yeah, I just can't get stuff to come in on time right now. It's crazy. So I don't know, man. And it's not like they're out of state vendors. That's the other issue. But anyway, I don't want to sit here and tell everybody about my work problems here. So I won't do that. Smark, feeling better this week? Feeling better?
Yeah, for the most part. I think it pretty much fixed itself around Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm feeling better.
Oh, nice. That lingered for a little while.
Yeah, usually when I get like something going on in the summertime, which technically still is, it tends to linger longer than it does in the wintertime. Not only that though, but I also had a wrist injury and a elbow injury, so
Oh,
that was fun. But now those are all kind of worked themselves out. I was doing some bench press the other day, so that was fun. Everything is good.
nice. And now you're kind of mixing in a cold and probably some allergies with it, which that's always fun.
Yeah, now I think it's primarily just allergies. I got a bit of a sneeze and a running what's going on today, but it's all right.
Nice. Well, I don't know why. It looks like no one. Looks like you're low. I'm gonna turn you up, sir. That's what I'm gonna do.
Sounds good.
That should be better. I'll go as you're talking. I'll kick it off a little more. Now it looks like I'm a little low, which I don't see how that could be fucking possible. But oh no, there we go. That's better. Okay, so all right, folks. What is going on, Norab? I see you're already in the chat. Appreciate that. And yes, we will kick off with that real quick. We'll talk real quick about General Adnan, and then I think everybody knows what we are probably going to be talking most about tonight will be CM Punk and CM Punk and CM Punk and Jack Perry and CM Punk. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun, but interesting week. I guess on what was it, Saturday? Saturday we all heard it.
What's this at here?
Saturday or Friday was the Punk thing. Probably Friday because that's what happens to us.
I think it was Saturday. I think it was the same. It was the same day that Jimmy Buffett passed away.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday. So, yeah, interesting since Saturday, but we will get into Punk. We've got a few other things to get into. And we're even going to, for all you lucky YouTube viewers, I'm going to go ahead and play that video. We have a good angle of the Von Wagner, Braun Breaker, the hit that Von Wagner took. That was pretty brutal. Wasn't intentional, but definitely caught the corner of the stairs. We'll play that. And we got a couple other things to get into. A little bit of WWE, mostly AEW tonight. Obviously, like I mean, I think we know the big news has been CM Punk. Fuck, man. God, this guy has been dominating the fucking news for the past, 2 months now?
Seems like even longer, but yeah, probably about 2 months.
You're right. It does seem like even longer, Smart. But yeah, mainly for the past 2 months, I guess. So, and we're not going to really make you wait for that. Actually, I'm going to get this fucking cord out of my way. If you'll excuse me for a second. Sorry about that, folks. Drop that on the ground. And I'm gonna keep, like I said, I'm gonna keep doing the browser thing. I think it's a much better way to keep doing this for everybody. So I'm gonna keep the browser thing kicking along, and we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. I need to refresh this screen because ads, and we will start off with. Unfortunately, we're starting off with another death, and that is Adnan. Al-Kasi? I'm going with Al-Kayasi. Arya is shaking his head if he's listening right now. Known as General Adnan, but you see the picture here. He was known as General Adnan. Everybody was kind of just talking about him a few weeks ago because we were all talking about Sergeant Slaughter and all that stuff. And yeah, according to PW Insider and even Sergeant Slaughter himself, General Adnan has passed. Actually, Sergeant Slaughter, you see right here, posted a little thing. Sergeant Slaughter says, "Sorry to hear the passing of Adnan Al-Kasi. In 1991 at WWE, asked me to portray an Iraqi sympathizer. Adnan, being born in Baghdad and a high school friend of Saddam Hussein, oh, that would have played well in these days, was brought in as my general." Together, we became the most evil force in wrestling history. R.I.P. my friend. And there's a nice picture of them too right there. Here you guys go right there. I'll shrink that screen up a little bit so I can, there we go. That's a little better of it right there. You see these two guys. So, yeah, man. But listen, 84 years old. Pretty good for a wrestler. And, yeah, that's definitely sad. But what was the other reason we were talking about General Adnan a couple of weeks ago?
I have no idea. We were talking about Sergeant Slaughter.
We were. I don't know why we brought up General Adnan. Maybe it was at work we brought him up. I don't know.
I don't recall, honestly.
I don't know. I don't remember either. But anyway, let's just go ahead and leave that. Obviously, pretty sad for his family, his friends, and probably still has some fans out there. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. So it's just, I didn't realize he was actual high school friend of Saddam Hussein. That's pretty crazy. That's a tidbit I didn't know. Did you know that?
Is that a legitimate thing or is it a catering thing? Because it's like there's a lot of instances where they just lie about shit like that, especially back in the day.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Slaughter. Would Slaughter lie about being in the military or something like that? Oh, wait. I think we should move on. Slaughter.
Okay, what he's going to be a real tissy if he ever finds out he's his OnlyFans.
I was in G.I. Joe. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, folks, I guess what we will go ahead and do, for this one, I'm going to shrink the screen a little bit because it won't play right if I don't. I can't. Jon Moxley cut a promo at All Out. Basically about we're about to talk about this whole CM Punk thing. But I'm going to kick this off with a quick little promo by Jon Moxley. He didn't really care about Punk being let go. I mean, Tony doesn't fire many people, but look at that. He actually nutted up and fired CM Punk, which we will get into in a few minutes, obviously. But let's play this real quick and we'll go from here.
Look, you have no idea how genuinely sorry I am that CM Punk just didn't turn out to be what you wanted him to be. He didn't turn out to be what any of us wanted him to be when we welcomed him back into this business, gave him a second chance in the greatest sport in the world. It just didn't work out. And while I am truly sorry for that, I know he's your boy, I know he's from Chicago and you love him, I have zero sympathy for CM Punk. And that is because CM Punk, fragile ego, fragile body, weak mind, weak spirit.
Well, that is not going to make Mr. Punk happy, I can tell you that right now. That's, I get it. This is kind of a Moxley character. And for all we know, Moxley talked to Punk about actually doing that promo. He might have. I wouldn't doubt if he did. Moxley's one of those guys who kind of doesn't really stir up too many waves, you know? But I think that's the feeling of a lot of people right now is that, wow, I don't have any sympathy. He was brought back and, you know, he fucked up again, which some of us knew he was going to do that more than others. I think we knew this was going to happen. I think it happened a little quicker than a lot of people thought it did. Now, Smark, let's just go ahead and ask probably the number one question. Mark Henry said all the problems are gone now, right? So everything should be all wonderful, hunky-dory. You know, they're all going to join hands and go to holidays together. Do you think, I mean, obviously, I think he was being a little sarcastic, but do you think now that Punk is gone, all these little problems will just start fading away?
Temporarily?
You do, huh?
For like 2 or 3 weeks, somebody's going to end up doing something. And that's just how this company works. There's a lot of drama and needless bullshit going on.
Yes, absolutely. There is a lot of drama. First, we heard both these guys had been suspended. Then we heard Punk was let go. So I think this is a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. I don't think this is doing anything. I really don't. Dude, the problems are still there. Your EVPs are still leaking shit to Meltzer and other people. I'm not just going to keep blaming the EVPs. There's other leaks in that company, I'm sure. The Bucks aren't there every week. And other people, you've still got leaks in that company. You still got fucking people who are going to act like fucking assholes. I still think we're going to hear the same shit. I don't think this is going to change anything. And Tony Khan still has not taken the reins of the locker room.
Speaking of Meltzer, do you mind if I share my screen for a minute here?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I want to show you something because this is all sort of relevant.
Okay.
Here we go. So I was watching the Observer cover the whole Punk firing thing, and I was watching Dave Meltzer was on camera. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
I want you to observe this. Watch how this motherfucker pets his dog. All right, this is fairly normal behavior right now, right?
Okay, yeah, normal.
Kind of rubbing the head a little bit, and now look at that. Who the fuck pets their dog like that? He's got him like in a fucking he's got him like by the back of the head, like he's like gonna slam his head into the ball or some shit.
That's how the mom picks the dog up, and it like paralyzes him.
Look, like the dog, I've never seen somebody pet a dog like that before. It's wild shit.
Yeah, weird dude. I think he's
just squeezing his fucking fur behind his head. Strange shit.
He's giving the dog a facelift when he does it. The dog's like,
the dog is wildly unhappy. The dog looks like he's about 10, but he's actually only about 2 or 3. He has to live with Meltzer for his life.
I like how he sits there, mic in his hand, just fucking looks like he's screaming into the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's crazy.
I will go ahead and turn off the screen share. But I had meant to send you like a message, just like I need to send you this video so that we can play it because I've never seen somebody pet their dog in such a strange fashion.
That was funny. That was.
Now, mind you, I do about the same thing. I don't squeeze the dog's face all fucking weird, but I'm being in the middle of a conversation, just kind of reach back and rub the puppy a little bit. That's
Rub the
normal
puppy.
behavior.
Is rub the puppy. Okay.
Well, I mean that both in a literal and euphemistic term.
I figured. I totally figured, Smark. You're good. You're good. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. Don't worry, Smark. You got it. You got it. So.
But yes, okay, to go back to the Punk thing, like, I do think that it's going to put a temporary break on some of the drama, but like you said, there's a bit of it's a leadership problem too. Because
Right.
like Tony Khan's like, well, I mean, literally read the story where it's like, well, we can't make everybody get along. It's like, no, but you can make people do their job and act like professionals, or if you can't, you can fire them, which I mean, he has started to do, I guess, but you know, what happens, is this going to be a consistent thing? Like, he's actually going to start standing by his guns and like the shit stirrers and instigators are going to go by the wayside? Like, that kind of, guess that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, this is one guy. This is one. I mean, this is one guy you're firing. This is it. And like I said, I think this is fucking a Band-Aid on a fucking bullet wound. I really believe that you still have a ton of problems in that company, and the problems start at the big old tippy top. Dude, did you hear that? I mean, when Tony Khan came out and told everyone that he fired Punk, did you hear that, crowd?
I watched, because they were in Chicago. It was on Collision.
Oh.
I watched, and it was funny because, like, he loses him, he gets him back, he loses him, gets him back. Like, I've never seen... He's like playing like emotional ping pong. It was making me laugh though, because he was like doing his best to be like, "No, I'm one of you guys. I'm from around here. I'm from Champaign." And you're like, "Boo, fuck you." It's like, if you really, like, I'm from suburban Chicago, and I, like, even that, like, if I tell somebody that's actually from Chicago proper that I'm from the suburbs, I get the same response. So he ought to know better. That telling people in Chicago that he's from Southern Illinois would not mean shit to them. But it is what it is. That part made me laugh. There was some lady, I don't know if you saw the Twitter thing, but he's like going on and he's explaining it. And he's like, the video was posted on Twitter of like, I felt scared for my safety. And there's just a lady who I believe is filming it. You hear from the back just yell, "You fucking pussy." And I lost my shit. I don't know who that lady is, but God bless her. That's been the funny thing though, is that like that has been the phrase that has caught on and been like examined and analyzed and overanalyzed over and over again. It's just like everything was going fine, and then he said he felt scared for his safety, and the internet latched onto that like fucking Dave Meltzer's hungry dog, and they have not let go since.
I wouldn't expect him to. That was definitely probably not the right thing to say. He should not. I don't know why he had to come out and do that. He just has to get in the fucking good graces of everybody.
Do you think that was a strategic legal move? Because they said they fired him with cause. So if he's like, I didn't feel safe, he could be totally fucking bullshitting.
Right.
But
did, and you know, I've actually got a little more on that. We can jump around in these articles a little bit. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to redo this one real fast because this one's got a bunch of ads. I'm going to get to where I need to be. Now, here's what it says. All right, the ads are right there. There we go. Here we go. So this is a little bit of a deeper dive, as they say, into what happened here. A deeper look at CM Punk's dismissal. This was the day after Sunday. This was the day after he was released from the company. And now, if you go right down here, right here, it says, now, Punk was not dismissed solely because of his backstage altercation with Jack Perry last week in London at All In, though that did not help his cause. His firing came after Khan felt physically threatened, which Smart just mentioned, by Punk at All In during his attempt to get Punk refocused on the match. Now, we did read the article that said that Punk grabbed him by the throat. Now, I still haven't heard that again. I don't know if that maybe is true since Tony feared for his life. So, there you go. Now let's keep going here. Unlike prior occasions, Khan was not able to effectively communicate or reason with Punk, and eyewitness accounts supporting Khan's claim further ended any chance that Punk would return to AEW. And here's where we get into it, Smark, right here. Khan's legal team unanimously recommended that Punk's contract be terminated, Sports Illustrated has learned, and Khan ultimately made the decision to fire him. So, yeah, in a strategic move on their part, I would not doubt it. I think it backfired a little bit. Obviously, we've got some Twitter videos of it here. If you want to, I guess we could play one. This is part one of it.
I'm sure that you know at this point what I'm going to say, but I think it's important that I come out here and talk to you about it before Collision and All Out this weekend, because I really respect all of you. I'm a wrestling fan like you, and if I'm in your shoes, I could totally understand how a lot of you feel one way or the other. But I just want to tell you, I'm out here because I had to do something I did not want to do today. I'm very sorry to fans or anybody who's upset by it. This week we conducted an investigation independently. I have a discipline committee in AEW.
All right, I'm not playing all 2 minutes of that, but man, that audio is too bad to play all 2 minutes. But yeah, that was just not a good idea, man, at all. At all. Now, they even compare it to Paul Heyman's public firing of Sabu in ECW in 1995. They're saying Khan's speech did not evoke the memories of Paul Heyman's public firing of Sabu in ECW in 1995, which stands as one of the most brilliant promos of all time. Well, there's not many Paul Heymans out there, folks, I hate to tell you. But yeah, that definitely could have been a legal thing. Go out there. But I really think it's more Tony Khan have got to get back in their good graces.
Yeah, I guess.
Gotta do it. Gotta have the people still loving me out there, you know? We still have pay-per-views to sell.
I think I don't know. I think it was calculated to some degree because he did the live speech where he said that he felt scared for his safety, and then on the opener for Collision, he said that he used the same exact verbiage. Right. So it seemed like for whatever reason it was very important for him to convey that point numerous times.
Yeah, it did. It did. And again, I mean, it says here, you know, varying reports. Punk went after a neutral source, said that, you know, Punk approached Perry backstage, nose to nose. Some reports you see are blaming Punk. Some reports you see are blaming Perry.
When you hear neutral source, does that make you think Claudio?
His neutralizer? It could be. You never fucking know.
Classic Swiss behavior.
You never know, but yeah, and it's just been, again, this drama doesn't need to be going down anywhere. It shouldn't fucking happen. Norab, we're going to get into that UFC thing in a few minutes here, actually. That's part of that's on my list, my man. But yeah, it just doesn't need to fucking happen. It's completely nonsensical. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. And again, why did Punk have to take care of it right then and there? Why not wait? Do it outside. Do it later. Do it after the show. No, I guess that would have been, I don't know. I guess hindsight is 20/20. You can sit there and say, you know, we should have done this, we should have done that, but I mean, it happened. There's nothing we can do, and Punk is paying the consequences now. They're saying Perry is, or Jungle Boy, whatever you want to call him, is indefinitely suspended. How long do you think that's going to be? I don't think they're going to fire him. I really don't. I think they just did this whole fucking pillar storyline with him and then turned him heel. I don't think they're going to fire him, but how long? Norab says the neutral source was probably Jericho. Probably
I don't think
was.
they're gonna fire him either. I'd say maybe like a month or so, maybe 2 months. I don't like because it seemed like it was. I get the idea of like well, they were both responsible parties, but at the same time, like that seemed like that was his first incident, as far as we know.
Right.
Whereas with Punk, it was like pretty much it was every couple weeks.
Yeah, man. It was. It was becoming like that. And I'm glad someone fucking stepped in and said, "Listen, you can't keep this guy. He's gonna get you in trouble. He's gonna hurt someone bad." Look, there's hurting someone in the ring. That shit happens. But if he is backstage and fucking goes after someone and actually hurts someone, that ain't good.
No.
Or if someone
Or if
gets,
somebody gets hurt because of like he got into it with another person, because that seemed like, and I mean that seems like kind of a fair, like valid point, reasoning, logic, whatever, of like if he's like getting into fights with people and it's like knocking shit over and like production team members are starting to become jeopardized, you've got yourself a lawsuit on your hands if something goes wrong there. So it's like I don't blame. If it's people outside of wrestling that are just people that are sort of only kind of tangentially related to wrestling, the production team members, catering staff, so on and so forth. If they're being put in the line of fire because of his antics, I don't necessarily blame them for getting fired for that.
No, I don't either. But I will tell you that Bischoff is one guy who is really out there blaming Perry for this whole thing. He's never going to be a star. He's not a star. He doesn't look like he's only there because of his dad. I don't know if Eric Bischoff knows, but his dad hadn't been on TV for a while before he passed, and I don't know if you know, but 90210 isn't really a thing anymore.
Yeah, they can't exactly play off of his dad's legacy now because it's not like they can do things together on TV.
Yeah, kind of hard. I mean, he can always go with Christian.
True.
Can always do that, but I don't think that's a good idea either.
Man, that's the next step to Christian promos, isn't it? Like him just like deep faking people's dead dads into promos with them. And just like having them talk about how big of a disappointment their sons are. That's the next step in Christian heel team. I think, anyway.
Yeah, can we do this after this? I know, just probably found one. All right, sorry about that. My wife was earlier. I found my dog out there nosing a little baby rabbit.
No.
They're everywhere here, and rabbit was so scared. Let me pick it up and take it outside. So,
and then the rabbit just got thrown under the bed.
They better not bring a rabbit in this house. No. Especially not the baby. The baby I picked up was barely opening its eyes. We have so many rabbits around these neighborhoods. Do you guys have any problems like that with rabbits?
No. I've seen a couple of rabbits every now and again. There's a lot of just birds. Look at it. It's a couple of hummingbirds that come through. There's a hummingbird feeder outside. There's some deer, some other just assorted cardinals, and like they go get some orioles, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, there's a bunch of birds.
Yeah, rabbits, and we have a lot of snakes around, which probably why we have less rabbits than usual in the summer. But anyway, I'm sorry, Smark. I didn't hear that last part there.
No, you were saying you were talking about like Christian dads and stuff. Is that going to be the next step? Is he just going to start like deep faking people's dead dads into promos with them, having them talk about how much of an embarrassment that their sons are? I think that's like the next step in Christian heel feed.
Like Tupac style holograms out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to start the promos by saying, "What's up, Coachella?"
I hope they fucking do. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope they do. I gotta say. Bischoff, though, also, Bischoff is putting some blame on someone who I hadn't really hadn't really thought of, and I think Bischoff might be reaching here a little bit. Bischoff's putting a little bit of blame of this on Meltzer himself, Smark.
I see.
Yeah, well, now you do. Here, look.
Figuratively speaking, I don't see because when I shared my screen, it disconnected from seeing your screen.
Oh, why didn't you tell me that earlier? You're right.
I was waiting for a non-clunky way to implement that into the conversation, and it just never came.
You are correct, sir. It did do that, didn't it?
I will say, while you're fidgeting with that, we are talking about Bischoff. He brought it up where it's like he wouldn't have blamed Tony Khan if he had Punk go out there again on All Out and then fired him afterwards because he advertised him being there. Do you think that would have been something that they maybe should have done, or do you think it was just better off to not risk another fucking incident?
I think A, it's not worth risking another incident. B, okay, if that's really Eric's thinking, then Tony Khan was screwed. Damned if he did, damned if he didn't. Because first of all, you bring Punk back, then what? You might as well have brought Jungle fucking Perry back too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna bring one back, you got to bring them both back. They got suspended for the same fucking thing. Originally, they were suspended for the same fucking thing. You can't do that. And two, so there's that aspect. And two, you bring him back. Oh, see, fucking Tony bringing back fucking Punk, not bringing back Perry. Dude, there was no winning in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
There was none. Your best bet was to just consequences, dude. He has to show there's some consequences.
I will say I was very surprised because he was saying he was saying that he hoped to have an answer before the pay-per-view. I was like, he for sure at the last minute is going to be like, yeah, he's not suspended anymore. He's going to get the pay-per-view. Like, yeah. I would have bet you fucking almost anything that I have that would have been what happened. But he actually put his foot down. I was rather surprised.
Maybe that is what happened, but I don't know. I mean, but you have got to show consequences for fighting backstage. It's I don't know. Bischoff would have brought. I think bringing Punk back would have been the worst thing you could have done. He would have taken hell from both sides. I think even the hardcore Punk fans would have seen through that bullshit.
Right.
And been against that shit. No, you can't do that. No. All right, well, because didn't Perry have a match too that night?
I don't know if he was booked for anything.
No, I don't think he was yet. I don't think he was. But yeah. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
I mean, he was feuding with Hook, and then Hook got his belt back. So
yeah. There's really no point. So listen, Jack Perry got his time off like Punk didn't want him to take.
Mm-hmm.
He used real glass and got his time off. I hate to say, Perry wins here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perry wins.
Somewhere out there, he's just like standing in the middle of his kitchen, just drinking Pepsi straight out of a glass.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, out of a Pepsi glass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. But as we were talking about here, Smark, Eric Bischoff on his latest 83 weeks was talking a little bit about what's going on. And he obviously is not a fan of Meltzer. He says, and I am quoting, as you can see, I have spent a lot of time shredding, exposing Dave Meltzer for what he is. Ooh.
I would rather he not expose Dave Meltzer.
Let's not expose Meltzer, please. He's touching his dog weird. We don't need all this happening. Anyway, I'm sick of hearing myself say it. Well, Eric is a way to cure that one. But Dave Meltzer is horrible. Always has been for the wrestling business, Bischoff said. He noted that he doesn't take either side seriously, but has been a long outspoken critic of Meltzer specifically. He says, I do believe that Meltzer is horrible for the wrestling industry. His here, make this just a little bigger so everybody can follow along just a little better here. His personality, the flaws in his character, Bischoff continued. For whatever reason, Dave seems to thrive by spreading rumor, innuendo. Oh, it's rumor and innuendo. Lies, call them what you want, and usually does so in favor of people he either has a relationship with or wants to have a relationship with. I don't believe any of the nonsense that I heard out of the Dave Meltzer with regard to CM Punk. So yeah, there you go. Go ahead and read the last two paragraphs real quick. Bischoff believes that Meltzer and his sources are a plague to the business. They were adding fuel to the fire. I firmly believe that, the Hall of Famer says. There's a way to handle things, and Punk didn't handle the backstage drama properly. He also thinks Tony Khan made a mistake bringing Punk back after his behavior at the All Out Media Scrum of 2022. Okay. I agree with both of those right there. That is the perfect way. I agree with both of those.
I like the idea that he hasn't handled this the right way. I just like the idea of Bischoff just sort of sauntering around the locker room like has Perry in a fucking chokehold, and Bischoff's just I think you're going about this the wrong way. There are better ways to voice your grievances.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Everyone's made some mistakes, but again, Punk is supposed to be the veteran here. Mm-hmm. You would think he would know better than to, kind of do what he was doing here. But I do agree with both of these. I definitely think that there is a way to handle things. I said it before. I don't think Punk should have handled it. He should have waited. Could have talked to the kid somewhere else and handled it a lot better. If Punk is just going to go after people, Tony Khan is justified in doing exactly what he did. Bye. Mm-hmm. Can't go after people backstage. See you later. And as far as the media scrum thing, I wouldn't have brought him back after that either. I would have just let it go. He had him. He was already gone for almost a year at that point. No one was clamoring. No one cared. It was probably the best time to just let him go. And I think he should have done that. It caused a lot of problems bringing him back, as we have seen. And the last part here. I understand how it can happen, Bischoff said, when you've got a piece of garbage like that, like Dave Meltzer, constantly stirring things up and presenting his side. According to Bischoff, this behavior is no different than Meltzer's behavior over the last 30 to 40 years, which is why the former WCW president has repeatedly made comments about Meltzer in the past. Meltzer was also pretty critical of Bischoff's running of WCW. They don't have this buddy relationship. They never really have, obviously. But it's funny, Smark. Bischoff is bringing up what me and you have said, not necessarily completely agreed on, but we've said the same comments that he's saying here about being a plague to the business about Cornette. Mm-hmm. We actually very much angered Sean one night because of our conversation. We couldn't even say it nicer than we did, yet it still rubbed him the wrong way, and I apologize for that. But we've said almost the same things about Cornette and the fact that he has so much pull and the fact that he has so many fans that are pretty ruthless.
Right. And I mean, for those who didn't hear it, it's the same simple sort of standard or point that I was making before. I'll make it again. It's just at some point you start to wonder if you're being counterproductive, because he comes at it from a place where he clearly loves wrestling, but the amount of negativity that he's created towards the current day product and that his fans sort of parrot back at things that don't match the sort of Cornette standard. He's done a lot to make wrestling modern days very negative and very sort of uncomfortable. So like after a while, it just becomes a matter of like you love this thing, but like you're actively harming this thing too because it's not what you want it to be at this current stage, in this date and time.
Right.
It's entertainment. Like fucking entertainment changes. It's not wrestling now is not going to look like it looked like in the '80s. Like no form of entertainment does. Because if it does, it dies. Like you have to
Right.
move on with the times. There's still plenty of room for like an older school element of things in wrestling. You can still do that in some regards, but you can't just. Not everybody can fucking wrestle like Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not happening.
Exactly. Wrestling's never going back to that time. So there's no reason to keep bitching and saying, oh, back in my day. All right, old man yelling at clouds. Stop already. All right. I mean, it's like, but.
To go back to the Meltzer thing, like I feel bad for him. Like he brings some of it on himself because he is who he is, and like he's very hard to listen to sometimes. Because I saw a tweet about Meltzer talking about Punk, and somebody underneath in the comments wrote, "You could just hear the ums and you knows in that quote without them even being there." And I was like, "Yeah, you're fucking totally right." But anyways, the Meltzer thing, like I feel bad for him because like so many fucking people hate him. Like I don't hate him. I don't like him. So I'm very much kind of indifferent about him. But it just seems like if it wasn't for him, somebody else was going to be reporting about wrestling. Like Bischoff, it seems like he doesn't so much hate Meltzer as much as he just hates that he's like the prominent figure in like wrestling journalism, if that's a thing. You know what I mean? Because like somebody else, and nowadays, you know, with all the internet websites and all that shit, like there are plenty of other people who cover wrestling and like report news, and like some have a level of like prominence and fame. You have like the Sean Ross Sapps of the world and shit like that. So you know, if it wasn't gonna be him, it was gonna be somebody else. And the whole like so many people hate him because of the star ratings, and literally he said that he just created that just as a way of like telling people like what matches he likes and what matches are worth checking out, like how much you should prioritize checking out this match versus the other match, you know. And it's just like I feel like he seemed like he had very like sort of noble intentions with that, and then everybody was like, "Fuck you!" Like, why doesn't Kurt Angle have more 5-star match? Why doesn't he have any? I'm like, fair enough, he should have some, but like still, it's like it's one guy's opinion. Like, it's not the end all be all encompassing like sort of taste of wrestling or like how it should be perceived or viewed from like history's sake. It's like no,
right? Yeah, it is. But I mean, you know, you got to give it to the guy. I mean. Pretty much most of the fucking wrestling news we hear comes from the Observer newsletter, or somehow one way or another through Dave Meltzer. So,
well, yeah, a lot of it comes from the Observer, but then there's also multiple people within the Observer. You know, you have Alvarez, you have Angel Zarian, you have Meltzer, of course. But so it's not all strictly from Meltzer, but it is, you know, the Meltzer umbrella, I guess.
Right. It's all through the Observer. So he gets a lot of the news, man. And yeah, he gets a lot wrong, but I've said before, I think these guys set him up a lot.
Well, that and it's fucking his wrestling, especially with WWE. Like, how much of that shit is changed at the last minute, and like that's not what Meltzer says. That's what people have said.
Right.
Like, you know, the actual performers, like up till this point in time, I thought the script was going to be this, or it was from when we were actually supposed to go out there. They changed it a bit. So it's like people, you know, the actual performers are saying that. So how is somebody who is just sort of getting fed information? How are they going to be able to cover accurately shit as it changes minute by minute?
Yeah, it's not easy unless you have someone leaking information to you 24 hours a day.
Well,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. That make any sense? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, I mean, listen. We could sit here and talk about this Punk thing. I have no reason to trash the guy. I really feel Tony should have nipped this shit in the bud after Punk did what he did on Collision. That's when this shit should have stopped right there. And obviously, Tony Khan did nothing, which meant Punk thought he could fucking rule the roost. That was a very old man saying right there. But he did. He thought he could go ahead and do what he was doing. And you know, I mean, listen, I get being brutally honest with people. I get speaking your mind, but not everybody's going to take that shit. Not everyone is going to take it. And some of these fucking young punks nowadays aren't going to fucking, no pun intended, aren't going to take it. They're just not. They're not going to take you getting in their face. But
it's a very weird dynamic that they're creating, and I think they are starting to ease back from it, but if they're not, they certainly need to. Because like for a while there, AEW there's a lot of storylines and promos that were built on like, you know what's going on, you're here with us, we'll bring you along. There was a lot of shoot style comments, promos and stuff that pulled back the curtain, but then you had a roster full of people that like couldn't necessarily be trusted with that responsibility. Because like somebody would say something that was a little bit personal, and then like all of a sudden it would be an actual fight, or it'd be like a fucking 2-day long Twitter battle that ended with a backstage altercation, just shit like that, where it's like you want to be kind of shooty, but then everybody gets like worked up for real, and then you have problems on your hands.
yeah, I mean, it's business. You're not supposed to take business personal. I thought that was one of the like, I mean, that's not a wrestling rule. That's a rule of business. You know, I mean, dude, I've worked for my family for a long time, and you know, back when I worked for them, we would have business arguments, yell, scream, and we'd go to lunch. Everything's fine. Personal. It's personal. It's business. Sometimes shit is just business. But you know, when you get in someone's face, you make it personal. So, now the only other thing that I've got to bring up with this Punk thing, and then we'll kind of move along from this Punk thing, and hopefully this is the last time we're going to be talking about Punk for the next few weeks. Good God, I hope so.
Well, hopefully at the very least until like November.
Yeah, well, they're all saying that Punk's definitely going to respond to this. So
What makes me fucking laugh is I say November because Survivor Series, Chicago,
yeah.
and it makes me laugh that everybody thinks that. I mean, I don't want to say everybody, but there's like a large group of people online that thinks that like Triple H or Vince McMahon or whatever gives a flying fuck about CM Punk and AEW's vendetta, like so much so that they would just like jump at the opportunity to bring him back so that he could like stick it to Tony Khan. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like he might come back. But like that would just be more of like, hey, he sells T-shirts. It wouldn't be like we're gonna show AEW. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he's got a fan base. Like that'd be about the extent of it. This is that there would extra people would watch the show and potentially buy merchandise and tickets and shit. But like outside of that, there's no real like none of them care about the shit that's going on. Yeah.
I wouldn't bring him back. I sure as fuck wouldn't, especially on a company like WWE, which is just, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it in a little while here, about the Endeavor deal just about to get signed. That is about to happen. So, yeah, after that you could, but why would you want to bring this fucking ticking time bomb back?
Because, well, we just on the off chance, I know he's like a security blanket if more shit about Vince ends up coming out in the news. Because we said that there was still potentially stuff that could end up coming out. So then if there's like more allegations and shit made, you just have Punk get into it backstage with somebody, and then it's like all is forgiven.
You know what I would do? I would give this motherfucker a Legends deal. I'd put him in the Hall of Fame, and I would fucking be done with him. I would not want him backstage. I would not want him on my television. I would treat him like fucking like Vic Mackey at the end of the Shield. All right, you're going to get a Legends deal, but stay out of my fucking locker room. Yeah, you can even go in the fucking Hall of Fame, but don't come in my locker room after you're done.
I think at that point it would just be a matter of them being able to like sell T-shirts with his name and face on them and shit. I don't know if he'd really want to do that because I mean they're selling a lot of his T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. I don't know what the percentage is that he's making off that, but one would stand to believe it would probably be better than what he would get if he went to WWE.
Good. Good. He can go to WoW shows and sell fucking T-shirts by himself. There you go. You can go hawk fucking T-shirts at WoW shows with his wife. I like it, Smark. I think you fucking nailed it.
WoW even a thing anymore?
I think you fucking nailed it. What?
Is WoW even a thing anymore?
Yeah, I think they got a weekly TV show, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ's got a lot to do with it. So yeah, well, there you go. He can.
Well, last I had heard of WoW was like I thought they were gonna like sign Tessa Blanchard and she was gonna be like their big star, and then
Yeah.
more Tessa Blanchard shit happened, and then that was the end of that.
Yeah, that went south.
Mm-hmm.
That probably wasn't a good way to say that. Shit, that went deep south, like Alabama. But anyway, the last thing about Punk is one thing Tony Khan was kind of forgetting to talk about was he didn't really mention whether or not Punk has a non-compete after he was fired from the company. Now, we all know this isn't WWE, as this article is going to tell you right here. This is not WWE, so this may not apply. But we all do know in a standard WWE contract, we've heard this for many years. We know if someone gets released, we know they can't, they have a 90-day non-compete. NXT is 60 days, I believe. Non-compete where they can't do television, I believe. So Meltzer said, I am sure if somebody went to court and was not being paid for a year, even if they screwed up and were fired for cause, I can't imagine any judge not saying, look, you can't do a non-compete. Meltzer then said he's under the assumption that Punk will be a free agent moving forward, while co-host Brian Alvarez pushed back against Meltzer's argument, stating that non-competes exist in a variety of different industries and are widely accepted as legally valid. In response, Meltzer said judges are continuing to push back against non-compete clauses all the time. In the end, Meltzer felt that a year-long non-compete would not hold up in court, while Alvarez disagreed. I am 110% with Meltzer on this. Day in and day out non-competes are being phased out. Give me a second here. There are literally bills in the system to ban companies from doing these non-competes. They don't hold up really anywhere. If you're in a right to work state, you cannot stop another person from making a living in anything. It's not the way it works. They are all the time telling these to get out of court. You want to know what's becoming a very popular thing, though? Instead of non-competes, a lot of people are doing NDAs to people. So if you do get fired and or quit your job, then you can't talk about my pricing. You can't talk about your customers. You can't go see your customers. But you can still work in the industry. You just need to stay away from all your shit. So that's actually a better thing to do than have someone because, all right, you got a non-compete. Someone pays you under the fucking table and you're still doing it. Right. If I'm on a non-compete and I go start Big Boxman Industries and I go to a company and say, yeah, by the way, here's my W-9. I got a tax number.
You were so close.
What?
Instead of Big Boxman Industries, Big Boxman Corporation.
Oh, there you go. Big Boxman Corp.
Think about the acronym for a minute.
BBC. I got you. I didn't even catch it till now. But yeah, you could literally, I could tell my boss, listen, here's my W-9. I get paid under my company name. 100% legal. So you tell me where a non-compete means dick to someone with half a fucking brain.
You want to talk about the dumbest fucking non-compete ever. For a very brief period in my early 20s, I worked at Auntie Anne's in the mall, the pretzel place.
Uh-huh.
They made me sign a non-compete. I did not read a single fucking word of that sentence because of the contract. because I knew that there was not a single solitary way in hell that they were actually going to enforce that. I did not know if that pertained to just pretzel places or like other food and restaurant. And I can tell you that I worked immediately afterwards in other food and restaurant industry or businesses, but they did not at all come after me. I was like, that is the dumbest shit. I am fucking signing a non-compete contract to work in a fucking mall food court. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that is the most ridiculous shit.
Fucking giving people hot pretzels with cinnamon. Get the fuck out of here. Okay?
Like, I will walk fucking next door to Chick-fil-A, work there, and you will not say a damn word about it. You know this is true. It's just the most ridiculous.
My wife is trying to get me drunk to take advantage of me, dude. I'm telling you now. All right. Anyway, hold on here, guys.
Celebrating.
Cheers. Yes, my daughter is actually turning 4 years old on Saturday.
Excellent. Congratulations. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, next Friday, my son will be 15 years old. Oh, my Lord. Someone help me. Woo.
That's interesting. There's a lot of birthdays going about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Tuesday is mine. Luke, Totally
Really?
Appropriate Sports is Wednesday.
Okay.
And then Matt Cheese's brother, also on Totally Inappropriate Sports, is the 14th. So 12, 13, 14, and then 15 for you.
And Dirk just had a birthday a couple of days ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, the day before. I can't remember. I'm bad with that. But anyway, back to this real quick. We kind of went away from Punk, and now we're kind of talking about NDAs versus non-competes. If you think about it, non-disclosures are actually a smarter way to go into business. Like I said, you can't go see your customers because that's going to be part of the disclosure agreement. You're not supposed to know who your customers are, and you're not supposed to talk about your customers. So that's going to be one. All the pricing you know. I mean, and I'm talking about like an industry like mine. All the pricing you know, all your vendors. That's something that is way more important than a non-compete.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to enforce something. You make someone sign a fucking NDA. You get fired or do this. You can't go see these customers for a year. I think it's a better idea, and I think a lot more people are going that way. Stephen Butler says he's disappointed with how unprofessional Jack Perry acted and agree with his suspension, but Tony made a mistake firing Punk. I didn't disagree with that earlier in the conversation here. I actually said kind of the same thing. I think they both did act unprofessional, but I think here's where I can see where Tony's legal team was coming from. If this was Punk's first, I hate to say this like this, if this was Punk's first offense, maybe he could have gotten away with it. This has happened before. This had just happened before. So, I don't know. They needed to make an example of somebody. They've had these backstage brawls before, and let's face it, Punk should not have come back after what he said about the company and what he did to Tony Khan that day. I'll say it again. 2022 All Out, he embarrassed Tony Khan. Embarrassed Tony Khan in front of the media. And Tony brought him back. Then he gets into a whole brouhaha we hear about, and Tony brings him back. He gets into another one backstage, Tony brings him back. Then this happens, and he was immediately suspended, but I think the legal team stepped in. I think that's 100% true. I think the legal team stepped in and said, you can't do this. You can't do this.
I don't necessarily fault them for bringing him back after last year's All Out.
Right.
Because, benefit of the doubt, maybe second chance. Because really, that was only kind of one incident. Like, it was a kind of an overlapping thing.
Right.
But it was mainly, he was bitching about Hangman, he was bitching about the bumps. But that was all, like, one just, isolated incident.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas after they brought him back, there was like numerous incidents, like back to back to back. Like he was getting into it. Fucking allegedly sent Christopher Daniels home somehow, despite Christopher Daniels being the head of fucking HR. So sent him home. There was a Jack Perry thing. There was a fucking Hangman thing again, I guess. There was more, all kinds of shit, just back to back to back to back. And after a while, it's like it's not worth it. Like, yeah, obviously he's a beneficial to your company. He's very talented. He's a great wrestler, great performer, moves tickets, moves merch, so on and so forth. But like, you can't build an entire wrestling company around one person. Like, one person can't be in all the matches, all the promos, the entire show. Mm-hmm. Like, after a while, if you are jeopardizing like everyone else around you, you gotta cut ties.
Right. And I see Butler here. I'm sorry, Stephen Butler. Why did I just call you Butler? I'm sorry about that, Stephen Butler. It will cost AEW a lot of money when Punk takes them to court. For what? Wrongful termination? No, I don't think so. You got into a few fights backstage. I don't think this is wrongful termination. I don't think he has a case. What case does he have?
I think that was part of what took so long before we got an announcement, was they went over that shit with a fine tooth comb. I'm not saying that Punk won't try, but it seems like he went over, like Khan said, he went over it with the legal team. The legal team recommended. Whereas, like, I felt like they made sure that they like looked at every angle before they made that decision.
Yeah, you would think if the legal team did this, they dotted their I's, they crossed their T's, and made sure the lowercase J's looked good too. I'm sure.
And also, I mean, like, WWE does this too, and I hate when they do it. And I don't hate, but like, it's an unfortunate part of the way things work. But like, Tony Khan has billion-dollar lawyers. You know what I mean? Like, if not from him, I'm sure Daddy can get his high-priced lawyers in there. Like, Punk doesn't have. He has millions of dollars at this point, I'd imagine, but he probably doesn't have the same resources that like the Khan family.
No, probably not. Nor I was saying conspiracy, libel, slander. So we got conspiracy. Conspiracy would mean you would have to get 3 or more people to actually have literally made a plan to go against only CM Punk for the exact reason to get him fired. They would have to show actual intent for that exact motivation, that exact reason. That's what conspiracy would do. Now we got libel, we got slander, we got written shit talking and verbal shit talking. This is the wrestling media. I don't see where Punk would have a case here. I don't see it. I don't think he has a libel case. I don't think he has a slander case. No, I don't think he does. What are you going to go after Meltzer? You're going to go after because they leaked it to Meltzer? I'm sorry. Leaking it is not fucking illegal. It's not libel. It's not slander. It's actually, it would be up to if Meltzer didn't confirm the story and puts it out as a lie, there's your fucking slander. There is your fucking slander. So he goes after Meltzer. I don't think so. I could be a little wrong on some of these. I'm not a fucking, lawyer, but now, if Punk sues, he will sue as Tony painted him as dangerous. If he did what he said, he is dangerous backstage. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Oh shit. OSB disconnected. You still got me there, right, Smark? Okay, we're back on. We're good. We just had a little thing there. That's weird. Didn't drop any frames. It's still recorded. I think this should be on People's Court. Absolutely. That's what there should be on. Tony's comments ruined Punk's reputation. CM Punk ruined CM Punk's reputation a long time ago.
I'm sure that 2-hour shoot interview podcast episode where he goes to exhaustive detail about how much he hates WWE is not at all going to jeopardize his potential of being brought back, should he choose to actually entertain that notion or want to go back.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that. And I mean, Punk wasn't exactly known for being this choir boy backstage who suddenly had his, everybody's suddenly talking all this bad stuff about Punk, and it's just not true. No, I don't think so. I think both of the parties involved in this little brouhaha backstage acted very unprofessional. I'm not 100% sure firing Punk is the right thing. I'll say once again, I think this is putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But we'll see what happens. Listen, Smark might be right. It might temporarily get these problems out of here, but I don't think it's going to. I think it all starts uphill. And if Tony Khan cannot grab hold of this backstage, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. So, anyway.
Also, you might be absolutely astounded to hear that today, as of today, AEW has released a steal.
Punk. Smark, that could have been next.
Well, yeah.
And it was actually. Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and tell on myself. See what happens when you watch the football game instead of going through the message that you got detailing the news. You get things like this.
Nah, you're fine, man. It was actually a great segue right into it. They did. I guess they figure since they're doing a little bit of house sweeping, they might as well keep it going. And they did. They went ahead and the two guys in this picture are both now released for a company that says that they do not fire people. That's 2 in a week, guys.
Well, I mean, you don't want people. Fuck it, that's definitely a safety concern. You don't want people getting bitten backstage.
Yeah, I'm surprised they brought him back too, but I think that was for Punk.
It was absolutely for Punk.
Yeah, Norab is saying that there were rumors being spread that Punk committed infidelity. I didn't see that shit. And I don't want to be the fucking show to spread that either. I'm not. No. We're not doing that here.
I would like to know who is spreading these rumors. So.
God. Norab. It's Norab.
I think it's worth a shot, actually. I feel like we should try to circulate this rumor.
No!
Because everybody's already, like, watching and listening to all these, like, CM Punk rumors and discussions and all that shit. Like, we just make up a straight-up bullshit-ass report. Like, people will tune in.
I don't know. Speaking of tuning in, I guess before we get too far into this right here.
Have we not learned that if we just say allegedly, that apparently, like, clears us of all legal wrongdoings?
I don't know.
So if we just say allegedly, CM Punk was,
I don't like that. But real quick, speaking of, people viewing and listening.
It was on a forum page.
It was.
That is the great. Like, where did that news come from? How was that a message?
Squared Circle.
That's right.
It was Squared Circle on Reddit. Forum page.
Go ahead and hit you with the upvote on that one, sir.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I just wanted to thank everybody for last week. I don't know if it was the title or what it was of the show last week, but I really appreciate everybody. We had some really good views and good comments last week and some complimentary comments, and I really appreciate that from everybody. I do.
Yeah, thank you kindly.
Yeah, and I think this the way we're doing the follow along is a little better. I think people are enjoying it, so good. Man, I'm going to start us a forum.
I just love out of 4.
Forum. It was it in the Headyverse?
I'm also glad that you like have some like sort of like standards and morals, because like I suggested all kinds of just shady, underhanded shit to get more people. Like at one point, I wanted this show to be called The Wrestling Observers.
Yes.
Like, yeah, just you tack in an S, you'll be fine.
I mean, I don't
Pro
have
Wrestling Insiders, like just all kinds of just straight up fraudulent bullshit.
I mean, I don't have a lot of really, morals and stuff. According to, if you've listened to older shows, according to some people, I have 0 morals and values. But
I'm just out here trying to become the next Rajiri, you know what I'm saying?
but
Fucking Tony Khan. I don't know if I said his name right, Rajiri.
yeah, I think
He's the guy. He's on Twitter, and he's just everything AEW does is fucking terrible, and then just everything WWE does is good. I guess he's trying to get on their payroll, or he is on their payroll, or something.
He's
so I could do that.
He's the Wrestling Inc. guy.
Hmm.
A lot of our news comes from Wrestling Inc.
Oh well, I might need to send him an apology DM later.
I have, my God, let me think back here. Since the mid '90s, I have used Wrestling Inc. I don't know.
I only go to reputable sources like Ringside News and Reddit message boards.
There you go. There you go. I mean, hey, we are on a reputable site right here. We are on actually we're on the Post Wrestling site right here.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Wei Ting. Fucking, there you go. John Pollock, Wei Ting, those guys, they're good guys. I actually do enjoy those shows. And they are, again, I guess we can get back to Ace Steel real quick. But yeah, he was released today too. It was not long ago. It was actually just a few hours ago we were getting these stories that he was terminated by the company and no longer with AEW anymore. I would say this is very unsurprising. Would you say, Smark?
It is the least surprising.
I mean, they literally were like if you guys remember back when Punk was up, they were just about having talks bringing him back, and one of the points was they hadn't brought back Ace Steel yet, so they did bring him back, and then Punk came back. I don't know, man. You really got to feel at some point that AEW did everything they could to appease CM Punk, and he blew it. He fucking blew it.
Mm-hmm.
You blew it. He blew it. What are you gonna do? But yeah, I think that's one of the least surprising things that this company has done in a long time. But
like at one point he was a reputable wrestling trainer, and as time has like gone on, he's basically just become Punk's Brian Lopes.
Pretty much. But anyway, there you go right there, man. There's that. We got a couple more little things to get into. I do have one more little video to play, and then we'll get into a little bit of All Out, and then Dynamite.
Sounds good.
I think that's what we'll go ahead and do. So let me close this down. We're going to go right here, and real quick, this isn't really a long article, but we had already mentioned it a couple of times that WWE and UFC merger, they have kind of set not a firm date to close the deal. And it is supposed to be closed by the end of this month. So by the end of this month, we are going to see WWE and UFC join and become a publicly traded TKO. So, like I said, this is not only a good deal for WWE, this gave UFC the ability to not have to put out an IPO, to not have to put the time, the money, the effort into becoming a public company. They just get wrapped into it here. This is a beautiful thing for UFC too. I don't know if people have thought about that, but this is a beautiful deal for UFC also. It does a lot for them. They will be a publicly traded company. I mean, this is great. This is a great thing for them. IPOs cost a lot of money to get that in that first public offering. It is not cheap. So this is great. This is a great thing for both companies. So they said it could close as early as the 12th, as you can see by the article, as I accidentally closed it down, but it is supposed to be closing on the 12th of this month. And we should see something happening pretty quick, folks. I got a feeling once that stock hits, by the way, I would say if you got a little extra in the kitty and you've got the means, I would think this would be a good stock to buy for the first week or two.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the UFC 5, the video game's coming out October 27th, so that's another boon on the horizon for them. I will say also, just for whatever it's worth, I know we don't really do that here, but they're having a card this weekend. I think it's like 287.
Whoa.
It is one of the worst fucking cards I've ever seen in my life. 293.
Wow.
It's literally just Israel Adesanya and he's fighting the Washington Generals. Like, that's it. That's the only fucking, like, interesting game on the card.
What?
And they're expecting people to pay, like, $70 for this shit.
Look at Dennis Rama coming in?
I wish.
It didn't work. Okay. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
I would pay to see fucking Israel Adesanya versus Dennis Rodman.
It
worked on me, by the way. I know you're going to say that the rating is bad, but I actually did watch the fucking Dennis Rodman segment on Collision just because it was Dennis Rodman. Like, if you put Dennis Rodman on Impact, I'd watch fucking Impact just to see what Dennis Rodman's up to. And what he was up to was just sort of looking like he had a slight idea as to what was going on, but wasn't entirely sure.
Well, the rating was far from just bad. After Tony came out and made his announcement, like almost 100,000 people fucking logged the fuck off from watching the show. Smark, when this show first came out, we were kind of like, let's not shit on it yet. Let's not shit on this yet. Let's give it a little bit of fucking time. But I think it's time, dude.
I actually kind of think, and I mean, okay, yes, these ratings this week or whatever were abysmal. I think you can turn it around more. Because now that Punk's gone, you don't have to deal with who's friends with who. You could just put everybody that you want to on that show. Right. You can have whatever the fuck matches you want to on that show. You can rebuild Collision now.
I 100% agree. I think you're right. But this is their shot. You're right. There is no more stress of, okay, who doesn't Punk like, who don't the Bucks like. This needs to be a all for one for all. This is it. We are, like I said, you don't need to be the perfect family, but you want to give the optics. There you go, Smark. That you are all for at minimum, you are all for the same goal, the betterment of the company, the betterment of the business, and the betterment of everyone in the company. If you're not going to show that, show them the door.
Right.
Everyone is replaceable. I don't care what. I know Tony doesn't like to think that. Oh, but I paid so much. But this, that. Oh, who am I going to replace him with? Everyone's replaceable. Everyone is replaceable. Somehow, some way, you can figure it out. You can work around it. You can do something. So yeah, this is their chance to actually try to rebuild Collision. This is it. We'll see what happens.
Well, I guess I did speak too soon. You can have everybody on there except for, I guess you still have to keep Thunder Rosa in isolation, apparently. Well, I guess that didn't get resolved. Not that it's her fault, but apparently, everybody else hates her for fucking some ungodly known reason. So she still has to be on that island. But for the most part, everybody else can kind of come and go as they please now.
Yeah, but she's doing commentary on the show for the Spanish commentary.
There you go, right on.
Yeah, she's doing all the Spanish commentary on that show. It's her and two other gentlemen, so I know she is definitely still on that show.
I could be one of those other gentlemen.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being one of those other gentlemen either.
There
you know, if Thunder Rosa's not good to go, why hasn't Tony just said, hey, there's this Holly Dead girl out there who's basically Thunder Rosa too?
I think Tony Khan actually forgets. Because he literally just out of nowhere, just fucking Diamante just resurfaced. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, wait, what the fuck's going on with Diamante? And the next thing you know, Diamante's on AEW television. It's like somehow somebody just sort of nudged him and just like, hey, we have about 18 other women that we have on the roster they're not doing jack shit with.
You know, speaking of where's this one, where's that one, Smark, you want to play a game?
Sure.
Smark, remember the game Where's Waldo?
Okay.
You do? You remember that game?
But of course, a fellow with a red and white striped shirt and hat.
Mm-hmm. Smark, where's Wardlow? Where's
Impact in 4 months? I don't know.
Where is Wardlow, Smark? I did put him in here somewhere. Wardlow is in this picture. Where is Wardlow?
Oh boy. Fuck. See, I'm trying to do it through the screen share thing, and that's not helping.
It's probably not that big. I really can't do much about that.
I know that's not your fault. I can
do that. Here, wait 1 sec, and I can do this. I can make it a little bigger for you. Here we go. How's that? How's that?
Hard.
How's that?
Let's see.
Does that make it bigger for you?
Yeah, I can see it now, but I'm just. How great would it be if this was an hour and a half?
Where's Wardlow, folks?
Like everybody else already found them, and it was just people just like frustrated, waiting for me to find him. There we go. Okay, we're looking at about, I would say about bottom right or so, give or take.
Yeah, we got it right
the
there.
Exact longitudinal and magnitudinal direction. I mispronounced both of those words.
Everybody keeps going, where's Wardlow? Where's Wardlow? And I don't know why I thought of where's Waldo. So I grabbed a picture and threw him in there real quick.
That's actually a solid. They used to have WCW like coloring books and shit for kids, and you could do like coloring books, connect the dots, that kind of stuff. That would be a good idea for AEW, like the Where's Wardlow activity book.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I even found a cartoon picture of him to drop in here. I figured he would stand out a little more. He's the only one with like this neon green. Everyone else has the white, the blue, the green, the red.
Because my eye kept being drawn to the yellow raft. I don't know why, but I just kept going back there.
I almost put him on the boat. Like, you know, he's just on the boat sailing away.
That's pretty much the perfect analogy for what's been going on with his career at the moment. Is he's just sailing away.
Yeah, I almost put him on the boat, but I didn't.
That's how we're gonna fucking revamp his career. That should be his new theme song. Tony Khan loves dropping dimes on theme songs. Just fucking every time he comes out, it sticks because you don't know when you're gonna see him again. So just come sail away with me.
Come sail away. But yeah, you guys are welcome to use Where's Wardlow and play. Please play. Sure. Play. Have your friends play, folks. There you go. Where's Wardlow? I should actually put that up here. Where's Wardlow? I'll fix that later. I can do that by Wrestling Outlet.
It's got to become like one of those games where you're waiting for food at like fucking Cracker Barrel or like fucking Olive Garden or something.
You know, now that I'm looking at that, I am very novice with the Photoshop. Matter of fact, I use one called GIMP. It's a free open source Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of GIMP.
It's actually not a horrible. I didn't do so bad there.
Nice.
Hey, I'm no graphics artist, folks, but I do what I can to help out. But there you go. You guys are welcome to use my Where's Wardlow. Please give us credit if you do.
It'd be a weird ass thing to see on the Observer tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Wardlow?
I'd be like, dude, that was me. Well, see, now we have proof. Now we have proof. Of course, I actually have the 2 original images that I made to use it, so I have more proof. But no, I don't know. I kept, everyone keeps saying, "Where's Wardlow? Where's Wardlow?" And I'm like, yeah, where is Waldo?
That would be an even harder game is if you just inserted like a random picture of a wrestler into Dave Meltzer's fucking junk pile from that photo of his desk, his office, where it looks like a fucking episode of Hoarders. It's the most scary, disgusting thing I've ever seen. It's just fucking giant fucking newspapers all over the place and fucking shit bags and oh god. It's terrible.
Like looking for a fucking needle in a stack of needles.
Mm-hmm.
But Glad you reminded me of that. I almost forgot about Where's Wardlow. And I took so much time, all of 3 minutes to make this bad boy.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, but there you go, folks. So I don't know what's going on. I don't believe he's injured. But, man, this is, you can make fun of WWE for the stop and start pushes on like Dolph Ziggler and a few other guys. But, I mean, I could have dropped Hobbs in there too.
I mean, Hobbs is on the pay-per-view at least.
Yeah, very true, very true. And
there's Hobbs and Miro, which boy, we have not talked about that yet. I figured we'd be leading off the return of Lana.
You just want to talk about meat and meat. You just want to talk about meat, don't you?
That actually was a pretty great chant. Was they just kept chanting "beat that meat" just over and over again during the fucking Miro Hobbs match.
Dude, they really did. They really did. And you know what? Fuck it. We'll fucking get in a collision later. You know what? Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about All Out, since I guess we're kind of getting into it now. Cool?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and do it. I don't really have any pictures or anything, folks. Again, when it's that far from a pay-per-view, I don't like to dwell on it. But, yeah, that was a total Haas match. That's exactly what we said it was going to be. You said, Smark, it was going to be a fucking Haas match.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking, dude. That was a fucking badass match.
It really was. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I just heard my daughter fart and yell, "I farted," and laugh. Anyway, I heard that over the headphones. That's why I said that. Anyway, that's my girl. I thought All Out was a good show though throughout the whole thing. Stephen Butler said he was surprised to see CJ Perry. Hope we see more. According to Tony Khan, that was a one-off.
That makes no fucking sense.
I didn't say a run-off. Smart. Oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm sorry. What?
No, like literally, that would make no sense. If it was just like a one-off, or just like, all right, well, she came in to stop her husband from getting beaten up, and then she was never to be seen again. It would be like a really weird. Like, I mean, I get the idea of like maybe don't use her every week, but just occasionally, she's got nothing going on.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw her on TV every so often.
It wouldn't hurt. I don't think she would mind. Wow, Norab actually found All Out better than All In. I don't know. I think they were two comparable shows. They both had a lot of pluses. Dirk, that's what Tony Khan actually said in an interview, that this was probably a one-off. Meanwhile, if she's getting all this fanfare, I could see Tony saying, all right, fine, we'll fucking hire her. We'll do something with her. It was weird seeing Miro just look at her and go, "You're not real." I wasn't sure if he was making fun of the girl on the plane or what.
They brought her in without telling them. It's like, hey.
It looks like she was just backstage and fucking Tony just said, "Hey, why don't you go out there? Go out there.
Come on,
grab that chair, run down to the ring. Go." By the way, Hobbs with the unprotected chair shot to the head. This is not 1998. Can we not do that anymore?
Yeah, but it was safe. It was very safe.
I thought we were only doing 2 or 3. Okay.
2 double shots. Give it the program, Buck.
Cheers to everybody out there. Thank you.
Cheers.
That wasn't cold enough.
That is not cold at all. Thanks for the rubbing alcohol. Straight vodka. Anyway, I wouldn't mind seeing CJ Perry there more. I don't think anybody would ever mind seeing more CJ Perry. But it was just weird that was weird. We had some Dennis Rodman out there, which Rodman at minimum looked like he was having a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it looks like he's having a great time. He's happy to be there. But I mean, you could really just say that about Dennis Rodman at any place or location.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rodman just hangs out with like third world dictators. So of course he doesn't care about AEW's locker room problems.
Rodman took Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High's advice on wherever you are, that's the place to be. He took that to heart because wherever he is, he makes it the place to be.
But he is far and away, like when I was a kid growing up, he was like my fucking sports hero. Because growing up in Chicago, he was a Bull, of course. So he was in '96 Bulls and all that shit. But I thought he was so cool because he was in he was in the Chicago, he was on the Chicago Bulls, he was in WCW, he was in the NWO. So he's wrestling, he was playing basketball, he had fucking tattoos, he had piercings, he had dyed hair. I wanted dyed hair. I ended up like when I became an adult, because that was the rule, it was like my mom would let me have dyed hair. When I became an adult, I dyed my hair. For a couple of months I had dyed green hair.
When?
Because I was like, I'm going to 2017. There's a picture of it on my Facebook.
I'm just wondering when this adult thing happened.
Oh, well, I mean, legally speaking.
Oh.
When I was able to get a job and procure hair dye was when I was allowed to do this.
I got
From a
you.
maturity standpoint, we will someday maybe get there. But anyways, the point of the story about the Dennis Rodman thing was that, like, I wanted to be Dennis Rodman when I was a kid. And then when I grew up, I was watching, or during the pandemic, I was watching the fucking Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary that's on Netflix. That was on ABC and all that shit. After watching that, I still want to be Dennis Rodman because, like, everybody was talking about how wildly talented Michael Jordan was, but how it could be really hard to be a teammate of his because he had such high expectations. He was so hard on people.
Right.
Everybody was complaining about him playing under that pressure, except for Dennis Rodman. Because he was like, Michael Jordan was kind of a dick. I didn't care. He was, I went to go hang out and do Nitro. I was banging Carmen Electra. I was living the life. Living the life, brother.
He wasn't even going to practice.
This guy does not care. Like, he missed fucking playoff practice to go do an episode of Nitro.
Yeah.
He was out there fucking banging Carmen Electra, banging Madonna, all this shit. Like, he just did not give a fuck. Like, no, he does not care.
Dude, he was doing movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, he was having himself a time. That man knew how to party.
We have played scenes from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the basketball from the sky?
Yep, I remember the basketball from the sky.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have played from that movie, but like I said, Dennis Rodman, no matter what, had fun. It wasn't really I guess he played a decent factor, but listen, Rodman still looks pretty decent for his age, and I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind seeing more Dennis Rodman on wrestling, on AEW, but
I was just bummed that they fired Punk before, right? Because I would have loved to have seen fucking Dennis. I would have loved to have seen a week of like fucking every wrestling outlet, no pun intended. Boom,
I'll tell you,
cover fucking Dennis Rodman versus CM Punk backstage fight. Because I think Rodman would have beat that ass.
Probably, but you know, I got to tell you, if you're gonna fire Punk on the night he has a big match, what is a better replacement in a strap match than Bryan Danielson? Coming back early from a broken arm injury, these two guys, this looked like they went out there to fucking bludgeon each other. This did not look like they went out there to be nice to each other. These two guys went out there and were trying to murder fucking each other, dude. This was unbelievable. And I did love Bryan Danielson's promo where he said, the last time I had a strap match, it was against someone I love, obviously referring to The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I thought that was probably I got to admit, I from ear to ear, I smiled when I watched that. Ear to ear, when he said that, I smiled. I was just, what a fucking great line. Fucking beautiful, man. But these two guys, I mean, that strap was just, I mean, it sounded like a fucking, sounded like fucking a father beating his kid with a belt. Sounded like Christian taking off his belt and beating his kids with it or something. I don't know. It was a brutal match. Brian was a bloody mess, and you know the blood looks better on him because of his. I hate to say it, because of his skin tone. He's pale.
Lack of pigmentation.
So the is the redness, just you can see the welts. His face was welted. His bleeding everywhere. He had a complete crimson mask. Great match. Absolutely great match. Best match of the two pay-per-views, Norab. You know what? I think I'd probably agree with you there.
Hands down, I would agree with that. Like, that is, I don't know, I don't know if I really have a clear-cut, like, match of the year this year or whatever, but it was one of my most favorite matches in recent memory of, like, matches that have happened this year. Because, like you said, they basically just went out there and just beat the fuck out of each other. Like, it seemed like it was very much Bryan Danielson going out there to try his damnedest to make Ricky Starks into a star. Like, and he was just willing to sacrifice his body to do that. And when we were talking about, like, I think it was last week, we were talking about the Wrestle Dream show, because the Antonio Inoki benefit that they're doing, or memorial show, tribute show, whatever. It's in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I was like, there was a part of me that was like, I wonder if they're going to get Danielson out there. And it's like, well, no, because his fucking arm's broken. He's not going to be back so soon.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, next thing you know, he's out there and he's wrestling and he's doing a fucking strap match of all things where they're just straight up laying into each other.
Yeah.
It's like, oof, that is one tough man.
Yeah, and you can see he's got the arm taped up. He said he was cleared, got the arm pretty taped up. He was definitely protecting the arm. But my God, absolutely went out there. These two killed each other and killed it in the fucking ring. Absolutely great match. Just brutal.
Absolutely.
I mean, this was GCW level fucking brutal, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean absolutely no disrespect by that. If anyone thinks it, none at all.
And like, and I mean, I know get to Dynamite later or whatever, but like the follow up to that was great too. The Ricky Starks promo on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, I absolutely refuse to let any fucking man in the locker room break my will and my spirit. I'm not going to let anyone submit me. I'll die if I have to. This is that kind of shit is wow. Like I mean, it's going to take some cooperation on Tony Khan's behalf, like how they book him and how they angle him and all that kind of shit is crucial. But the talent is there for him to be a fucking breakout star. Because like he's been killing it in the promos. He's been having good matches. Like it's there. Like you were saying before of like, with Punk being gone, like they need to reevaluate how they do Collision and all that shit, and how there's going to be an opportunity for people to step up. That could be one of those people. Like I'm not saying he's going to be like a CM Punk level star of like moving tickets and merchandise and shit, but he's gonna be a star to some quality if they are careful with how they book him and how they use him and that kind of thing. Is like he's got all the talent potential to be a star.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, and after it at the little scrum they were asking Danielson about the match and this and that and how he came back and how he did the match, with a broken arm and this and that. And he's like, I'm gonna kind of tear down kayfabe a little bit here. Ricky Starks carried me through that match, so he put him over from start to finish.
Right.
He bookended it. He put him over all over this fucking match. Yeah. It was great. It was a great fucking match. And I'm trying to think the rest of the show. This match just fucking took over the fucking show. I don't have any results or anything pulled up, folks. I'm trying to do this by memory, which is not a good idea.
I mean, just a couple. If I could think of off the top of my head, you had the MJF Adam Cole versus Dark Order. They won that match.
They won.
Or tag team titles, rather. They won that.
And we got a kangaroo kick out of it. And a double Clizzy Lizzy.
That's it. Yeah, Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander won that one.
Yeah, which I think we all knew was going to happen, but God, Ruby. Yeah. And this new fucking character Tony's playing is crazy. I love it.
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the character, but like from a kayfabe perspective, like what brought this on? Like, I feel like
she lost her mind.
like she is like, yeah, like her friends should check on her because like all of a sudden just out of nowhere she's just like talking in this like weird accent, doing this like persona, this like fucking 40s movie starlet. Like nobody's concerned for her well-being
But
in this. And I'm like talking about from my kayfabe perspective. Like again, don't get me wrong, I fucking love this character. It's great. But it's just like you have like none of your like friends have mentioned that you're like acting peculiar.
but they're not her friends anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So I don't know, man. But
Which, my God, she rebounded big time from like, because I mean that whole like gimmick and angle was kind of Shitsville, USA.
well, they're all kind of rebounding. I mean, Soraya's got the fucking title. Tony's doing this. They're all sort of doing a little rebound thing, which I'm glad they're getting rid of it. I like. The problem is I liked all three of those girls. I still do. I like all three of them. Ruby, I got a little thing for. I can't lie. But
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't blame you there, but like it reminded me of like the sort of first run or the first couple of weeks of like the New Day.
right,
Where it was like all three of these people are talented, but you have no fucking idea what you're doing with any of them. There's no direction here, and it's terrible. And then after a while, they like started to form and become their own thing and figure out what they were. Because like there was a minute there where I thought they were getting fired, like not Outcast, New Day, because the first like month of the New Day was fucking terrible. Like everyone hated it.
well,
It's easy to forget that now because they've
Yeah.
become like one of the biggest acts the company's had.
Well, they turned
fucking
him heel.
decades, but it was rough for a minute there.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like the Outcasts were like they had sort of had that New Day run of like they were talented, but it just wasn't going anywhere. And then they never really figured out how to make it work for all three of them. But now that they're like kind of dissolving that, everybody's going on to bigger and better things and have like a direction for their characters. So that's good.
Yeah, I think everybody broke out of this pretty good. So we'll see what happens with everybody. What next? The main event was good, but I mean, nothing was gonna top that fucking Starks Danielson match. Nothing was gonna top that shit. But All Out was pretty good. And we'll get into a little more of it as we're talking through Dynamite in a couple minutes here. But fuck it, collision ratings suck. We don't need to fucking really get into that anymore.
And they're going to continue to do so.
I think so, unless
it's
Go
well,
ahead.
it's not even. It has nothing to do with CM Punk. It has nothing to do with like AEW either. Honestly, that's the Saturday that just happened was the first full Saturday of college football. College football is going to be going on for another like 2.5 months, 3 months or so. Like those Saturday night ratings are going to be shit. Like regardless of if Punk was there or not. Like it's
Really?
going to be convenient for everybody to be able to say that it's because of Punk, and the people that are thinking that like Tony Khan made the worst decision in the world by firing him are going to have ammunition. But like those ratings with or without Punk were going to be bad just because of how big college football is.
Well, yeah, and it's funny actually. They're going to be doing on November 17th. They're actually going to be doing a Friday night Rampage, or not a Rampage, a Collision. Sorry, they're doing a Friday night Collision one night this in November 17th, as I was just saying. There it is, right there, folks. You can see right here. It was revealed today, and I think this was actually 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the 4th, that you can see right here. Collision and AEW Rampage. They're both going to take place in Kia Forum in Inglewood, California on Friday, November 17th. And both shows will be happening, and this will be right before the Full Gear show. So they're going to combine both shows and do kind of a special, as you can see right here, a Collision Rampage special, as this picture is showing right here. And there you go. The show's going to basically just start early. It's going to be, tickets will go on sale. Basically, tickets are on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which, let's see, what's that? I don't know. Figure it out, folks. So, but they're gonna.
You mentioned Angle that they're going to be doing an Englewood. I just now like I sort of really let that marinate for a second. I just like the idea of like a guy wearing Danhausen face paint just getting mugged.
Oh God.
Like those poor nerds are going to be in for a real time. I don't know if like Inglewood's been gentrified since like '90s rap music, but
Is he better yet? He was
Probably
hurt,
not.
Danhausen, wasn't he?
he is.
I hope he gets. He was a good character too, man. I like that guy.
But I mean, if you look at the crowd and like every episode of Dynamite for the last couple of weeks, there's always been at least one guy with Danhausen face paint on.
Oh,
So just the idea of like a guy like that just walking through like Inglewood, California, it just makes me laugh.
which brings up the PSA, folks. Don't do crack.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do crack, folks. Just don't do crack. All right, so there you go with that, and we're gonna go ahead and do the. I got one more little thing here that we're gonna go ahead and talk about, and that is when on NXT the other. Oh shit! I just closed a screen that I wasn't supposed to. On Tuesday night on NXT, they did a little angle with Braun Breaker and Von Wagner. Now, I know we don't talk a lot about NXT. We don't talk a lot about WWE on this show at all. But there was a little mishap during this spot right here that people were a little worried about Von Wagner, and I think they had a pretty good right to be. We'll go ahead and show you here. I'm going to pull this up. This should show. I'm going to drop down a little bit. Let me just shrink the screen a little bit. Be even better for y'all. There we go. Go up a little bit. Go up a little bit. And here we go. We can see. Let me make sure we got volume here. Here we go. 5 seconds. Okay. So you can see in this video, Braun Breaker brings up the stairs. He drops him. Von Wagner places his head in a safe spot. You'll see him do that. Matter of fact, here, I'm going to turn the volume off. And you'll see Von Wagner place his head in the spot. And boom, you see Braun bring the stairs down. Now, I should have done this in slow-mo, but if you look at that right corner, look at that corner. Bam. Literally, the corner hits Von Wagner in the head.
Oh,
So this move did get a little jacked up. It was more like, he had it just a little bit wrong. No, I absolutely don't think Braun did this on purpose. And it was just a move gone wrong. But, it's funny they do this whole story with Braun, with Von Wagner about how he had all these, kind of disabilities as a kid and stuff. And part of it was his head. And then next thing you know, we get this probably looks like could be legit head injury here.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we don't want to watch that. So, I just thought I'd play that since this angle hadn't been put out. I think this was just put out today. 6 hours ago today. The officials were definitely a little nervous about this. Actually, here, I'll pull this back. This came out from Dirt Sheet Radio, as you see. And it says the report came out today from PW Insider that although Braun Breaker Von Wagner's stunt on Tuesday was a work, there was a sense of panic backstage from officials and medics because the steps did accidentally connect with Von's head, as we did just see over and over again. I mean, listen, it just connected. It was an accident, but hope Von Wagner's going to be okay after that. So, like I said, Smark, I do still keep up. We may not report on it a lot or talk about it a lot, but I do still keep up with what's going on, and I believe you do too. So,
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I don't know why, but NORAD wanted me to play this video. This is when Toby Keith got his revenge. Now, Norab, if I play this, I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for playing Toby Keith. But I will take that risk for you, sir. I'll do it. I will. I'll take that risk. And if I get one, it's your fault. And I won't be mad at you for it.
Wait a minute! What is Jeff Jarrett doing?
Well, he got under Jackie Fargo's skin earlier tonight, and I think doesn't want it to stop there. Whoa!
Toby Keith! Toby Keith is coming to ringside.
Is he an entrant?
Nobody's making himself an entrant.
What is he doing?
Toby Keith here looks like he's trying to be Santana, dressed as Toby Keith. Anyway,
He has no business
He's
in there.
right in the face of Jeff Jarrett.
What is this?
Is Toby Keith has Jarrett up.
What is this?
Toby Keith just suplexed Jeff Jarrett.
He has just become my favorite country western superstar.
I don't know why I had to play that, but Norab, there you go, sir.
Yeah, I was curious. Is it like the anniversary at that moment, or is that just like, hey, I want to see the Toby Keith, Jeff Jarrett thing?
I don't know. But yeah, that was Toby Keith, Jeff Jarrett, very long time ago. But yeah, I remember that. And when Toby Keith came in, I was like, what the fuck is he trying to be? It was weird, man. That was a weird spot right there. But I will tell you, though, not a bad suplex by Toby Keith. Not a bad suplex.
Well, there you go.
Norab said, don't do it. It's not worth it. Already done, sir. Already done. But I believe...
Okay, it will not be a copyright strike on Parler.
I don't think it will be. I mean, it'd have to be Impact that gave me the copyright strike, and the music was for less than 5 seconds. We should be okay. We should be. But I guess from here, let's see. Oh my God, we're almost 2 hours into the show already. So yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and get into Dynamite. Holy shit! I don't think I didn't have it pulled up. Now I do.
And let me tell you, if you're worried about the collision ratings, I'm sure that this week's Dynamite is going to be absolutely stellar considering the card.
You mean the one we just watched?
Uh-huh.
I didn't think it was bad. I was wondering why I only had 6 pictures and a very small thing of notes here, but now I know why, which we were going to go ahead and knock this bad boy out. I think we can probably let's shoot for the most here, 20 minutes. I think
Now, I will say real quick, though, there you go. That was my contribution. No, I will say before we're talking about like the quality of the matches.
What?
Somebody needs eyes on it. If I could, I would just like to say, no, what I was,
Are you trying to start? Are you flooded? Okay.
if I could just mumble into this microphone for about 20 seconds, if you would care to indulge me.
Go ahead.
No, what I meant to say is if you look at the card, before we talk about the match quality, if you just look at the card, what match makes you want to tune into this?
The end.
Because you have fucking Chris Jericho, AR Fox. It's like, all right, you know who's going to win that match. You have Emi Sakura versus fucking, why do I keep wanting to call her Tony Storm? Chris Statlander.
Which I know was your favorite match. I know it was.
Match of the century.
Absolutely.
You know who's going to win that match. Like, if you look at the card, like, you could pretty much guess who's going to win every match on this show with about 90% accuracy.
You know, I'll admit this Dynamite was not the greatest, but you know, these guys just came off of 2 fucking weeks of back-to-back pay-per-views, some brutal matches.
Sure.
I'm kind of willing to give this one show a pass.
Oh no, I'm just saying I'm not saying that it was a bad show because like actually all of like a lot of these matches were good.
It was.
But at the same time, like, do not at all be surprised if the ratings are really bad for this show because like
I
the
get you.
card was lacking in big matches, and I don't know. Like I was thinking about that too. Like you said, it's probably what happened is just 2 pay-per-views in like a week. Like there's a lot of big matches. I'm sure the majority of their roster is probably hurt, or not hurt, but like tired, maybe hurt, kind of just banged up a little
beaten
bit.
up,
Like
sore.
we wanted to rest some guys, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, I see Christopher Kane disappointed this week, AEW. I get it, dude. I do. And, you know, I'm not making excuses for this show being a little lackluster. But I think we should, and I'm not, I think we should be a little forgiving. These guys have pushed the last few weeks hard. Out of the country, back into the country. I mean, I'll bet these guys are fucking exhausted. I will bet these guys are exhausted. I don't blame them. But one of the guys who I'm pretty sure is exhausted, who has had a ton of matches, and not just matches, but brutal matches. Even the match he had it all out was pretty fucking brutal. He was obviously bleeding. He's got the little Band-Aid, the giant Band-Aid on his head. He kicks off the show, which Orange Cassidy usually does, kick off the fucking show. And not anymore international champion. He did lose that championship to Jon Moxley. And if you watched All Out, Jon Moxley didn't bleed. Orange Cassidy bled. I'm just saying. A little weird.
That's a good point.
The crowd really had a bunch of chants. Thank you, Orange. Thank you, Orange. He said, yeah, they told me to stay home, but I said no. I'll be here every week, and I don't have a catchphrase. And the crowd lost their mind. Dude, I got to tell you, I see a lot of people hate this dude. Hate him. Character's stupid. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh, he's just lazy. His character's lazy. That's not a character. That's just lazy. I'm sorry. I think this guy is talented. He can go. He can do it in the fucking ring. I don't get the hate for this guy. I really don't. I don't get it.
I think a lot of it is just people who just didn't like the gimmick initially and refused to give it any chance, even though the character has actually evolved over time.
I would like to see those assholes fucking try to do a fucking somersault with their hands in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Try that. Do you
I mean,
know?
that's the thing. Yeah, he's a well-trained wrestler. He's a really good in-ring performer. He was trained. He was one of the people that came through the Chikara Wrestle Factory.
Yeah.
And like, as much fun as it is to make fun of Mike Quackenbush for like the 20-minute crying video he did, like he is a very legitimate trainer, and he put out a lot of like really good people. Drew Gulak came through there. Claudio came through there. Like a lot of talented people came through there that are really good in-ring performers, and he was one of them.
Yeah. I don't understand the hate in the guy. Do you understand when you launch yourself in the air how much your arms are your balance?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think this guy is way more talented than people give him credit for, and I just like the guy. I like the character. I like the guy. I hate the whole I don't have a catchphrase because his catchphrase is I don't have a catchphrase. That's kind of the irony in it, I guess. Mm-hmm. My catchphrase is I don't have a catchphrase. So,
that's right.
You know, it's an ironic thing. But after this, we get into Jon Moxley versus AR Fox. And there really wasn't much special about this match, Mark. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but This was
No,
just
like Christopher Kane said, AR Fox got punked. I don't know if that's necessarily just in relation to tonight, or I mean, not Dynamite, or just the way he's been like handled the last couple weeks. Because there was a whole big thing of like he was with the Mobile Embassy, then they lost the match, and it was like, this is just a test run. We're gonna beat your ass and throw you out of the group. And then it's like, all right, he just like comes crawling back and apologizes to Darby, and now they're friends again. And now he's getting beaten up by Jon Moxley. So I don't know what it is that like. Apparently there was some issues you were talking about last week, I guess, where he couldn't cross the border. And I guess maybe, I don't know if it's because he didn't disclose that information or not, but like people got mad at him, and I guess he's being punished now.
That's what everyone's saying. Weird. That is the saying, that he's kind of being punished for this. That shit just, the whole story kind of seems like if he was in WWE, because WWE is kind of who punishes you on camera.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if they're being, if it's true, which is like that's a big if, but if it's true, doesn't that kind of make them look bad by not like doing any background checks on the man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because especially if it's like, you tour overseas and you plan on going overseas, England, Canada, Mexico, all that kind of shit. It seems like that would be pretty pertinent information to have.
Yeah, you might want to at least stand up and go, listen, if anyone's going to have a problem going overseas, can we know now? Instead of waiting for everyone to tell you they've got issues going. Some people may have forgot. It does slip people's minds. So anyway.
Hey, any of y'all commit a felony per chance?
Yeah, there could be that one at least.
Of course, my winning Tony Khan impression.
Yeah. Well, we get Mox retains in this match, of course. Darby comes down to comfort AR5. Darby is like this evil man that comforts everyone in their loss, which is just, we'll talk about that in a little while.
He's got his demonic face paint on. He hands AR Fox a cookie in a juice box and whisks them away.
There you go. Look, it's grape. Have some. Nick Wayne's on the screen. He turns around and there's old daddy issues Christian. Old Christian daddy issues. Christian's kind of.
Boy, do I want that to be the name of the show.
Christian daddy issues Christian, or Christian daddy issues?
Christian daddy issues. I feel like that would get a lot of people again, but just perhaps for very wrong reasons.
Very wrong reasons.
You're going to get a lot of people that are not going to stick around. They're going to be very much misled by the show time.
We might get some strippers listening to the show.
That'd be a great stripper name, too. Hi, I'm Christian Daddy Issues.
I think she danced for me a couple of times. I definitely think she did. Christian's trying to lure in Nick Wayne a little bit. And my favorite part of this was when Christian leaves and he goes, say hi to your mom for me. Dude, if Christian becomes like this MILF banging, daddy hating, dead daddy dude, I love this character.
That would be great if they did actually, like, just for storyline purposes, get his mom and like they went on a date.
I would love it. And his mom is hot. Now Darby and Nick Wayne do have a match later, which we'll talk about. So Statlander versus Smark's favorite here, Emi Sakura.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say in this match, Emi Sakura had some awkward, I'm being nice, looking moves. There were some botches in this match. Absolutely.
I actually kind of liked, like, I didn't like the dumb character that she did for a long time, but I did like the thing that she did on the outside where she, like, had Statlander against the stairs.
Yeah.
And she, like, ran, and then she didn't so much dive as she just, like, threw her body forward. Like, it wasn't graceful at all, but it looked like it hurt. Like, this is going to sound like a terrible insult, but, like, it kind of reminded me of, like, when Foley would do dives.
Yeah,
and like you can tell that he's not athletic at all, but he's just like he's using his body to inflict punishment on people.
Yeah, he would. She basically did like a lariat onto into the stairs, and really, that looks like if it hurt anyone, she would like smash her face into the stairs. So, whatever. But there were some definite botches in this match. Statlander, though, I thought looked pretty good during this match. And Statlander definitely retained TBS Championship. Decent match. Not bad. So we get this backstage interview with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom.
Oh my God, I love this.
I hate you. We get Roddy.
I mean, you're talking about the one where he's talking about his family life. Yes.
Oh, this was the biggest bullshit Staub story and his parents and...
That was 110% meant to be him lying, though.
I get it, but I got to tell you something. This guy...
Because it was fucking great. I'm surprised you didn't like it. Because
you know
it was
why?
Like, my mom was an alcoholic. My dad was a drug addict. And while he's saying this, they're showing a picture of him and his dad, and his dad's dressed like Elvis. I thought that would pop you. But then also, it's like he's talking about how much his mom and dad are drug addicts. And like, he doesn't actually have any actual evidence of this because it's fabricated. So they're just presenting these like happy family photos.
Yeah.
And he's trying to present like a spin on this that makes it look like he has this tragic upbringing. It was fucking awesome.
No, because he is so bad at talking. None of this is believable. This guy is just bad. He's a bad talker. He is just not believable. I don't know if he's supposed to be this way or if that's the character. I don't know. This was stupid. This was just
See, I
all
can't argue
dumb.
that part. Like, maybe he is purposely supposed to be irreparable, and he's not supposed to be able to, like, you're not supposed to believe him, but, like, yeah, if he's a bad actor, he's a bad actor. Like, that's bad. I can't argue that part. That's just your own personal preference there, but I thought it was fucking great because it was just like this blatant lies, and like he was talking about like how he slept with a BB gun by the door,
a BB gun, yeah.
And there's a picture of him just being like a little chubby kid playing PlayStation, and it's just like this is fucking awesome. I love this shit.
He was kind of chubby. I'm not gonna lie, but
oh, he did. And me too. I was a fat kid as well, and I became a fat adult, but like he was a fat kid. So it was like it was funny to see little chubby Roderick Strong. Christopher Kane says Triple H made Roderick Strong look credible.
So Callis comes out to join commentary, right? And
I'm just gonna blow past it.
I did that purposely. I'm sorry. Les Sex Gods versus Aussie Open. Aussie Open no longer are champs. We know Jericho. We know there are new tag champs in MJF and Adam Cole. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Jericho starts out. Sammy and Jericho strike a pose. Dude, as we said last week, we knew this was gonna definitely go to kind of argument. And really, there was not that much of a reason, but they did win, and they do go to an argument. Security breaks it up, and Sammy walks out. To be continued.
I don't know how I feel about him as a wrestler, and I've never really heard him cut promos, but just the idea of him, I guess. Mark Davis of Aussie Open, I believe is his name.
Mm.
One of my new favorite wrestlers. Because he just has this like fucking ridiculous mustache, and he has like a bit of a gut, and like he kind of looks like an '80s Southern wrestler, and he's not. That's not at all what the gimmick is supposed to be, and that's what makes me love him. Because he he looks like a little bit out of shape. He has a ridiculous mustache, bit of a mullet. It's just like I like the look of this guy. Like this guy looks like a wrestler.
I am so with you for every reason you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Every single reason I am so with you. And it's funny, and then he's got this fucking little fucking pretty boy millennial beside him. It's like
it very much reeks of like an NXT or like WWE pairing where like
yes,
they have nothing in common, but they just threw two guys together like on a whim.
It's the Odd Couple.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly.
I might need to let this dog out here. Give me a second.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm going to go ahead and get this. Go ahead. Let's see. Noreb says, why did they waste time 3 weeks ago with the Don Callis and Jericho segment if Jericho and Sammy were just going to stay and turn? Dude, this is turning. Trust me. And it's funny. It seems like I'm actually mentioning Callis right now. It looks like he's actually moving on more towards Omega right now. I got to say, I think they were I think the Jericho thing might have been a just in case. I got a feeling there was something not 100% if they knew. I don't know. I just got a feeling that they had Jericho as a backup plan and they used it for a minute and now they're not. But Renee was backstage with Callis and Takeshita. Callis says that Takeshita is the new god of professional wrestling. Yes, he said the god of professional wrestling. And next week, their target will be unveiled. See, this could be Jericho, which will literally get right back into the storyline that was going on. Norub says Don Callis sucks. I will say to you, I disagree. Dude, Cyrus is one of the best fucking characters from back in the day. And this, I like Callis. I do like Don Callis. He's another scumbag you love to hate. But yeah, this wasn't a bad thing. And I kind of like, Takeshita as this kind of heelish, almost comic bookish character. You see where I'm going with that? No.
With
Maybe.
Callis or with Takeshita?
Takeshita.
I had to let the dog out, so I heard looks like a comic book character.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
No, it looks like, but kind of like he's kind of playing this like comic book character type of villain, with this guy just kind of guiding him through these moves, that these things, and now he's got this like almost mind control over him, and I don't know. I kind of see it as almost like a comic bookish type of pairing.
I can see that, I guess.
All right. As long as you see it.
I mean, just to be honest, I'm kind of with Norab. I'm not really super big on I'm kind of tired of Callis at this point.
Looks like he would take a dump on your lawn and lie when caught red-handed. I hate to say, but Don Callis reminds me of Trevor from GTA 5.
I can see that.
Just a total scumbag that would yell at you for no reason. He does, but I think that's why his character is so great. I do. I think that is what makes his character great. He does look like he'd come fucking take a dump on your lawn. And you know what? If actually he did, like say this was Jericho, his next target, and he took a dump on Jericho's lawn, I would fucking watch that. And so would you. I'm just saying. Sure. And so would you. Okay. So we got some fun stuff coming out now. So we got MJF comes out. Samoa Joe comes out after that. MJF is just kind of digging at the fat jokes with Samoa Joe here. And the schmeckle jokes, which, yes, a schmeckle is a penis.
Really left out the very obvious, way too many Samoas joke.
There was.
Like, it's right in the name. It was low-hanging fruit. He could have very easily taken it.
Yeah, MJF definitely went low-hanging fruit on this. I think everybody's made fun of Joe's weight. I'm surprised he didn't call him Samoa Slow.
Oh, man, that would have been so great if, like, right in the middle of the promo, he just, like, whipped out his phone and just fucking video called Scott Steiner.
You're fat! All right.
Like, wait a minute. I got a friend who would like to speak to you.
Shit. Now, I did like that they touched. I like when MJF does this, like when he touches a little bit on the reality. He goes back. He touches a little bit on the Regal thing, which gave us a little bit of the NXT. He literally took us back a little bit. This was story time with MJF. Took us back a little bit to the time with Regal. Then he transitioned into the time where we've seen him with Samoa Joe when he was on NXT, when Samoa Joe was walking to the ring. MJF tried to get ahead of him, and Samoa Joe pushed him into the wall and out of the way. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a pretty cool little thing to bring up. Joe, yeah, they get into a little back and forth, and then finally, Joe gets MJF mad enough to where he slaps him. MJF slaps Joe. The whole promo was about taking the bait. Neither one was going to take the bait. Joe said he wasn't going to take the bait and tells MJF, go ahead, walk out. Shows him the entrance, shows him the ropes. As he's walking out, Joe just jumps his ass. Yeah, just kicks him right in the fucking ding ding.
But kicks the ropes go into the ding ding. But
right.
Still low blows him.
Low blows him. There you go. Joe gets the best of MJF, gets him set up for a muscle buster, and then here comes Adam Cole. Adam Cole running to the ring. The trainers are looking at MJF, though, and he is screaming in pain. Now, remember, Cole did put him down a little rough, which is kind of what MJF is selling, this little neck thing. I thought it was funny that as they're walking or working on MJF, Samoa Joe took it as an opportunity to come back out and call him a bitch again. That made me chuckle. I don't know why. But they're walking MJF back, and he's screaming, I can't feel my left arm. I can't feel my left arm.
Paul, can't feel my legs.
And we get Roddy. Adam, why are we trying to imitate Seth Rollins and John Cena? Adam. I want to get my gun. I want to get my gun. And Roderick, and that's Roderick coming down for his match. He doesn't even get entrance music, which I say he doesn't fucking deserve anyway.
You gotta earn entrance music.
I'm just fucking saying it doesn't deserve it. So there we go with that. So Roderick Strong is in a match with Trent Beretta. This is the first match of the tournament that we're going to have. Winner of the tournament goes against MJF. This match, obviously Roddy is faking the neck injury. No matter if he's faking the neck injury or not, this match had no business going to picture-in-picture, in my opinion. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? I think Smark took a walk. Hold on here. God damn it. Oh, Smark's not there. I don't know. I just think this match had absolutely no business going all the way to picture-in-picture. I think this should have been a squash either way. If they wanted Roddy to lose, it should have been a squash. His neck was the cause, and he doesn't get to do this thing. Otherwise, I think this should have been a much faster match. But that's just me. Tony Storm was backstage. We already talked about her character, how we both kind of like it, and we're seeing where it goes. So now we get Oh, there we go. Smark is back.
Oh no, I was just saying it's great. I love that character. She keeps throwing her shoe at Renee. I think she grabbed her boob for some reason.
She did.
And like Renee's in the middle of asking her a question. She's like, "You forgot that. Renee, how are you?" It's like, "Excellent."
Yeah, and she said, "Chin up, tits out." Chin up, tits out. That's what she said. That's why she grabbed her tits. Tits out. So,
and the fucking faces that she's making during the she's very much. It's everything about it is wonderful. I don't know whose idea it was. I don't know exactly who she's drawing inspiration from, but just thumbs up because it's a fucking great character.
It's kind of like a crazy Marilyn Monroe-ish type character.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm curious to see how where it goes here from. So Paige comes out. He's got a little interview with Tony Schiavone. I did like that they did this whole, he won a battle royal.
Good for him.
And because of it, he was able to donate 50 grand to the Chicago Public Education Fund, which basically that meant that AEW just donated anyway because somebody was going to win the match, but I guess now it gets to be put in his name. Anyway, it's great they donated. Let's leave it at that. So Swerve and Prince Nana come out. Nana basically tells Schiavone, your services are no longer fucking needed here. Get out of here. Swerve says Paige was handpicked to be a champion, but since he's gotten comfortable and taken a back seat to the rest of the elite, Swerve says if Paige doesn't want his spot, he'll take it. Next thing you know, Brian Cage comes out and attacks him. I actually like this segment. I actually did. I did enjoy this segment by these two guys. Swerve, I think, was leagues above Hangman in this segment as far as promo goes.
I hope that he has like a weightlifting belt under that jacket because he's gonna have to. He's putting a lot of strain on that bag trying to carry the segment.
He did, man. I really think he did. I'm not saying Hangman did awful or anything, but I think Swerve really showed his talent.
I feel like Hangman is kind of AEW's version of Ricochet, where he's over with the people, but like he just neither one are good talkers. Like they have their fans, they do well enough for themselves. They're good in-ring performers, but just neither one of them are very good at talking. Now I would say Hangman better than Ricochet, but still, just like you said, I totally agree. Swerve was leagues better on the microphone.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest. Swerve isn't the biggest promo guy. I'm not a huge fan of his promos, but I'll be damned if he didn't definitely shine in this one.
He has a good presence. Like he just looks like a menacing person. Like he looks like you were talking about people that like you think would shit on your lawn. I don't know if shit on your lawn when it comes to Swerve, but he just looks like somebody who would just like look you in the face and have his hand down your pocket and just be like stealing your fucking wallet while he's talking to you.
Looks like he'd shoot up your lawn.
Yeah, he looks like a menacing individual.
Actually, Nana looks like he'd shoot up your lawn.
Yeah, I suppose.
Nana looks like he'd shoot up your lawn. Strickland looks like he'd laugh while Nana's shooting up your lawn. That's what I think. All right. So now we head down and we're going to the last little main event here, and we even got a little overrun in this show with Darby here. Darby Allin versus Nick Wayne was the main event, and I got to be honest, Mark, I wasn't crazy about this match. Well, you got Darby in the ring, and when you've got Darby and Nick Wayne in the ring together, here's one very, very big problem. Darby's got these platform shoes on, and Nick Wayne still is towering over Darby Allin.
There's a picture that it's like Adam Cole and Zack Sabre Jr. together, and the caption is both men claim to be 6 foot or like 6'1".
Yeah.
And like Zack Sabre is like about 5 inches taller than Adam Cole, and that's what that reminds me of when you said that.
I mean, it's literally. I mean, this guy is sitting here, stop hitting me like a fucking 18-year-old and hit me like you want to win. This 18-year-old looks like he could whip your ass, Darby. Sorry, but he does. And then, I mean, I really got to say, Darby telling him that and then not being able to hit the coffin drop makes no sense. Hit me like you want to win and then you don't want to win? What the fuck, dude? I get the whole mentor thing. I get the whole fucking storyline. I get that he was trained by Nick Wayne's father. I get it. But you know what? I don't think it's a good storyline, and I think enough is enough. They beat it into the ground with the first few weeks Nick Wayne was there. I think it's I think it's already played itself out, dude. Enough.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Nick Wayne needs to finally, okay, now you got him there. He either goes out, sinks, or swims, and you need to figure out which one. I don't need Darby sitting there being his fucking daddy, which obviously is what Christian's doing out there. I don't need it. Darby does not look like anyone's fucking mentor or anyone's fucking daddy. This 18-year-old kid is bigger than Darby. It doesn't look right. I'm sorry. I understand the storyline they're trying to do, but no. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's.
It's like both men claim to be. I think it's like 6'1" or 6'2", but both men claim to be the same height. And it's like, no.
Oh my God. He's
Not
like,
at all.
Jesus, man. My God, this match did though get us to a little bit of a. We got a little overrun. We got like a 3-minute overrun of this match, which I think you could have shortened the Roderick match and ended on time. I would have been fine with it. What? Yeah, what the hell? One more. I can.
Trying to think if you're going to shorten anything, maybe the Moxley AR Fox match,
You could have shortened that. You could have shortened
or
the
even
fucking
the
Roddy.
Inside Room match.
You could have shortened that.
I don't, and I know what you're saying, but like the Roddy match, you're gonna get mad at me again. But like, I kind of get it because you're building Roderick Strong having the neck problems and all that shit, and like the majority of the offense that Trent did was neck based. Kept dropping him on his head. He kept doing, that kind of stuff. He did like the half and half suplex. He did like a pile driver, all this kind of shit. So like, I get the idea of like them building up the neck injury throughout the match and like sort of like making the match go a little bit longer than just a plain old squash. But yeah, I know what you're saying. But I know I didn't mind that it was a longer match. And to kind of go back to what you're saying about the main event, I thought the main event, Cheers, was a good match. But I do agree with you on the whole like Darby not being able to hit the coffin drop thing, because it's like you're not trying to hurt him. You're just trying to win a match.
Right.
Like it was nothing. He was like, okay, all the other moves that you did to him throughout the match were totally fine then. Like I get the idea of like if it's something that's more of like I think like Kingston wasn't wanting to use weapons on Moxley or whatever. Like that's different.
Yeah.
Versus like Darby not wanting to hit the coffin drop.
Well,
or like I agree with that. I think that part was like kind of dumb. But then the match itself, outside of that, was good.
Yeah, but it's not even that. You're not just trying to win a match. You're trying to move on in a tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, this is way fucking
For
different.
the world title, by the way.
Yeah. And now it's and now you're playing this little fucking pussy? Nah. I don't like it. I don't.
Boy, do I hope that this tournament culminates with another finals, or not another finals, but another match between Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe, and Joe just beats the shit out of him again. Like that is the best way to end this, I think.
I think Joe is definitely who's going to win this tournament and take on MJF. And after that fucking promo exchange between the two last night, I hope that is the way they're going, because that match right there could be fucking money.
I think so too.
Money. So I think that'll be a fucking great match. So, on that note, I'm sorry. After that, we did get Christian down there because Christian needs to remind Nick Wayne that his father is dead and Christian is his daddy.
Do you think that could go anywhere? Like if you had Darby turn on, or not Darby, you had Nick Wayne turn on Darby and like just become Christian's lackey, and he's like dressing like Christian, acting like Christian.
Oh, I think this happens. I think definitely Nick Wayne turns on Darby and possibly joins over there. I could see Christian getting a little faction going on there.
Cool.
I don't know, man. It's just I just find that storyline a little kind of cheesy. So, but anyway, AEW was mid. Let's
That's the thing, yeah. Like the actual wrestling in the matches were good. Like the matches itself were good, but like I feel like it was hampered because it was like A, predictable, and B, there was just sort of a lack of star power for the most part.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, look, like I had said, they just got off 2 very brutal pay-per-views. I'm sure they wanted to give a few guys a week off. And I get it. I get it. And they gave guys 2 weeks off. It was last week and this week for Bray's passing. So I get it, but let's see. But I will definitely say that Smarky made a great point. This is the time. If they want to build any of their secondary shows, this is their time to build Collision. Right now, this is it. If they don't do it, they're kind of showing they don't give a shit about Collision. So, but on that note, man, I have absolutely nothing else, Mark. What, anything else for you?
I don't think that about this.
All right. Well, folks, I think that is about it for this week. Once again, thanks for last week. Really appreciate the good views, the good downloads, of course the kind words. But hopefully y'all continue to listen. And that's about it, folks. Thanks again. We will definitely be back here next week. But yeah, we actually don't have any pay-per-views this weekend.
Oh.
All right. Well, there you go. I will enjoy my daughter's birthday on the 9th. And that's about it, folks. We will definitely be back here next week. And I guess on that note, I say